It is, as we do every Tuesday, it is Tuesday, right? The pet guy, Jeff Seidenfaden, is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you here.
Good to be here again.
No dogs running away during the 4th of July, right?
None of mine.
None of yours. Well, because you keep yours under control.
This is true, but you know, I'm glad you mentioned that right off the bat, because we need to tell people if you've lost your pet after the 4th of July, you need to physically visit Metro Animal Services.
Okay, why is that?
Corner
you can't
of Crumbs
call,
Lane
huh?
and Mansley. It's really hard to say, you know what, I lost a 40-pound black dog, do you have one?
Okay.
Yeah, we have about
Probably
50.
do, yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
you know, go down and take a look. It's really hard to describe your pet over the phone.
Okay.
And you need to do that about every other day, you know, just to make sure.
Yeah.
That's the facility where stray animals end up.
Yeah, because people hang on to the pets for maybe a little while if they find them, maybe try to find the owner themselves, and then when they can't, a couple days later
some people,
they go.
Right, give up. So, you know, don't give up. You know, I know people that have found their pets, you know, at the shelter after weeks.
Really?
Because someone has said, you know what, I found this dog and I'm going to keep it and whatever else. Go down there, be consistent about it.
Okay. Well, here's the thing we're going to talk about today, and you might have a problem with a neighbor's dog that's barking. You might want to tell him to tune in, because Jeff is going to tell us how to get rid of some nuisance barking from the dogs, right?
Right, or you may be that neighbor.
You may be that neighbor.
You know, and if you
Even
are,
worse.
you know, yeah, exactly. Just, you know, realize there is something you can do about it.
Okay.
And it's with, you know, we talk a lot about different types of training, and the first thing you have to do is interrupt the behavior. So the best way to do it with barking is to get a can, like a peanut can, put some pennies in it, and when the situation happens, shake it.
Ah.
That's going to startle them. As soon
Okay.
as you startle them, be prepared to have something that they enjoy to pull them away from whatever they're barking at.
Got it.
So a high-value treat is normally what we call that. With Max, it's the sweet potato.
Loves the sweet potatoes.
Absolutely loves the
Okay.
dehydrated sweet potatoes. So find out what it is that your dog really enjoys, and then use that for that distraction.
Okay.
Praise them, not just with the treat, but praise them, good boy, when they stop the barking. You always want to get their attention focused on you and not on what's going on,
Got
so
it.
that you can get that stopped. And then you have to be consistent. So, you know, if you have kids, if, you know, there are multiple people living in the household, everyone needs to do it when it happens. You can't just do it one time and expect it to happen.
Now, let's say I've had my dog for years. I've had a barking problem for years, but I'm finally done with it. Is there such a thing as too late to train your dog?
Never.
Never.
Never. You know, have found that out with Max. You know, he has learned tricks at 9 years old. You know,
Really?
they're never too old to learn. And again, it's just a consistency thing. You can teach your dog not to bark. And you know, some people want to use things like shock collars and things that, you know, immediately give them a correction when they do that.
Yeah.
But
What's your stance on those?
there is some barking that you want. You know, you want to be alerted to an intruder. You want to be alerted to a bad situation. So your dog should know that it's okay to alert you that something's going on, but then they need to stop and to look to you for action.
Okay.
So that's why you wait until the barking starts. You stop it by interrupting them with shaking a can or something that draws their attention to you.
Do the shock collars work?
Shock collars do work. I'm not big on negative reinforcement. I would prefer positive reinforcement.
Right.
If you have a dog that has a severe problem with nuisance barking, then that's something you can look at. But I wouldn't go with the shock collar. They make citronella collars.
Got it.
That put off a little blast of scent that they don't like. So, you know, and again, it's going to give them the instant to bark without immediately giving them that. So if they are just alerting you and then stop, they're not going to get the correction.
Got it. All right. Hey, we're going to take your phone calls in the next segment, 502-240-6527. Got any question for the pet guy? And we're also going to talk about some adoptions and some tough times at the shelters around the area right now.
Absolutely.
But we'll talk about that in just a second. Right now, we had that rain. Are we going to have any more? Let's check it out with the WHAS 11 First Alert Storm Team Forecast.
I'm First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Jamie Martin with your forecast for our Tuesday. Looking a little busy out there, just like yesterday. We're going to start you off with some isolated showers and thunderstorms, but then get things developing very quickly as we begin to heat things up across the area. Right now, things are pretty isolated, but becoming more scattered and numerous as we work through the next 24 hours as our next cold front draws in. So we're going to see busy conditions, a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms during the day today. High temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Now, by tonight and tomorrow, our next cold front begins to move in from the north. It's already causing plenty of showers and storms north of us. It's going to move in, and it's going to take its time, which means some heavy rain possible. Could even see some flooding problems across the area, especially southern Indiana, through Wednesday afternoon. We're going to stick around. We're going to have the very latest on that, possible flooding conditions tonight at 10.
Thank you, Jamie Martin, and we will check you out tonight at 10. Right now, a reminder, 502-240-6527 is the telephone number. If you get a busy signal, it's because Nancy from Louisville is on the telephone right now. And Nancy, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your question, Nancy?
I have a little Chihuahua that I adopted when she was 2, and she will not walk on a leash.
Mm-hmm.
What does she do when you have her on the leash?
Oh, we lost.
Did we lose her?
No, are you still there, Nancy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what does she do when she's on the leash?
She will just stand there.
Okay. How old is she now? How long have you had her?
But she's 4.
Okay. Have you tried encouraging her with a treat?
Yes, I really have.
Okay.
I could drag her, but you know.
But we don't want to do that.
Right,
No,
that's
no,
definitely
no.
not best. You don't want to do anything that's gonna choke. How about in the yard? Do you have a backyard you can take her out in?
Yes, I do.
Does
Not
she do anything?
fenced in, though.
It's not fenced in?
Mm-mm.
What I would recommend is if you can get a training lead, something that's 20 or 25 feet, get one that's thin, not the big heavy one because obviously she's a small dog. Put that on her, let her out in that backyard, and without being tethered to you so closely, and then let her see if she can walk around a little bit and get used to having that feeling on her neck. I would assume that she was not used to that in her former life before you adopted her.
Right.
She probably came from a situation where she spent most of her time inside.
Right.
So hopefully that will help.
Okay, well, thank you so
Sounds
much.
good,
All right,
Nancy.
good luck.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Jeff, while we're waiting for the other call to come on the line, real bad situation going on right now down at the animal shelter having to do with cat adoptions.
It's just the overpopulation problem is always such an issue. It's estimated there are 45 cats for every person born in America. So,
Wow.
you just realize unless you have 45 cats, then I have to have the difference to make up for the ones that you don't have.
Right.
Can't happen.
Yeah.
There aren't enough shelters. There isn't enough space to put all of these unwanted
And funding
cats.
is being decreased at shelters. Cities are going through hard times as well.
Absolutely. So really the key, of course, is spay and neuter. We're going to talk more about that next week. The benefits not only to pet overpopulation, but also the medical benefits to animals. But if you're thinking of getting a cat, go to the animal shelter. Go to Metro Animal Services. In fact, right now it's a great deal. I think it's $15 off the adoption fee.
Wow.
You're looking at, I think, around $50 if you want to adopt.
And speaking of which, you've got amazing stuff on your website, petguy.tv. It takes you through all of the adoptions.
That's
that are
right.
currently available.
If you just click on the tab for Adopt a Friend, it's going to pull up a listing of all of the agencies that I work with in Louisville and show you the animals that are available for adoption right now. And they update it regularly, so if you see one on there, chances are it is still available for adoption.
All right, Dora from Louisville, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your question, Dora?
My question is this. I have a pet rabbit. She's 3 months old, and I want to know how to house train her.
How to house, like to a litter box?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you need to start with a large enough cage that you can put a litter box inside. And rabbits are generally very clean animals, and
Right,
they're going to
yeah.
want to use that. So put the litter inside the box, and if she goes outside of it, and this is a little gross, but you need to pick those droppings up and put them inside that box.
Okay.
And that's going to help train her to do that. Then if you want to let her into a bigger area, choose a small room that you can do that in, but make sure there are no wires or anything on the floor
Right,
because
yeah,
she
'cause
will...
my sister told me she was a gift from my sister and my brother-in-law in Grayson County for my children.
Okay?
And she said to make sure nothing's on the floor because she will chew.
Absolutely, and the droppings are easy to find. The urination's a little more difficult, so before you let her out in a room to do that, make sure she's doing it inside her cage.
Excellent. Thanks, Dora. I wanted to ask Dora what the name of the rabbit was, but we lost her. Oh, well. Hey, as always, you can get a hold of Jeff if you have any questions, jeff@petguy.tv. And Max has been roaming around here as well, so thanks for bringing him by.
Absolutely.
And thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Jeff Seidenfaden, the Pet Guy. When we come back, we are going to talk about the Oxmoor Country Club. It is wedding week and a wonderful place to have your wedding, and just about anything else. Stick around. You're watching the CW Louisville Live this morning.
Escape from a child or from a mother, for what your people wanna do to